anything black, ugly, and evil, look in your dictionary and see the synonyms of the word black. There's always something degrading and low and sinister. Look at the word white. It's always something pure, high, and clean. Don't let anybody take your manhood.
There's a reality that we as a people refuse to face. We're in more or less denial about it because I believe the illusion of inclusion. It is because of the illusion of inclusion that many of us believe that we have been made a part of this system. But I remind you, we came here as captives, we are still captive today. We came here to be made slaves, and if you think the 14th Amendment or any other amendment by this government has changed their policy or has changed our legal status, then you are misinformed. The people who are mistreating us today, who are abusing us today, who are murdering us today, have a history of doing those things to our people ever since we came in contact with them. And so, at some point, we have to face the reality that we live under a brutal system as a people, notwithstanding the individual successes. But as a people, we are still captives, we are still conquered, and we are still being exploited. Nothing has changed, and nothing will change until we change it.
And what we have to understand now, in the period of superior brainwashing, is there is no European answer for African problems. Either Africans find a solution to African problems, or there is no solution, and if you don't find a solution soon, you go back into slavery.
Let's face it, black people. The government isn't working for us because it wasn't designed to work for us. And so we must give up hope in this system. There is no hope that you can believe in. There is no change you can believe in. So why not face reality? Black people are in the ultimate state of vulnerability and weakness. All of us must both realize and accept the reality of our condition. Remember, they are murdering and abusing
Jamie Blake
even
and I both,
the house
as
Negroes
black men of relative privilege.
There can never be any lasting security living in the belly of the beast. If you are working on or at anything that does not have total independence as its goal, I'm urging you to stop your work of vanity. Voting will not work. Reform will not work. And protesting and boycotting are at best reactionary and temporary fixes because they do not address the fundamental issue, which is black people's total dependence on a system designed to exploit and destroy them. We live in a capitalist society and country under a system of control by the capitalists. Capitalism is the ownership of the means of production and the capital. Everyone under the sound of my voice, every one of you living under this system of capitalism, is both the capital and the means of production in this system owned and controlled by the capitalists. If being totally owned and controlled is all right with you, if having no real freedom or hope for real change is okay, if you have decided to remain asleep only hope for the best. If you have decided to suffer patiently in Jesus' name, if you are among the dead, the walking dead, who insist that there's a way to coexist peacefully with this monster, if you are still advocating some type of integration into this burning house, then feel free to turn this video off now, before it's too late and you are forced to face reality. Martin King once said, "Don't let anybody take your manhood. Be proud of your heritage. The white man can't ride your back if it isn't bent. Nobody else can do this for us." We can't just talk about racism and somehow our problems will go away. Because the real issue that we're faced with is the issue of institutions. Institutions that were built and designed to do just what they're doing. To fail us in education, to fail us when it comes to justice, to fail us in every way in terms of services to the people who are paying taxes. The government in no way is working for you because it's designed not to work for you. So at some point we have to come to the realization and face the fact that the only solution is our own institution, and that we cannot wait on any government institution to save us, because we're going to have to save ourselves. We're going to have to come to the conclusion and face the reality that we're going to have to declare our independence and cut the unbiblical cord.
But the great tragedy that we're faced with today is that we are in war or at war, and most of you don't even know it. And therefore we have not really faced this and brought a real solution to our dilemma. But I need to tell you something. What we're faced with today has been going on for thousands of years. We've been under siege for over 3,000 years. This is not something new. We want to talk about some solutions today. We don't just want to talk about our problems. But we will never be able to protect ourselves until we form our own government. That we will not be able to protect an individual nor a group. So if we are really about solving this, we are going to have to do more than march and protest, because the people who are listening really aren't listening. You cannot appeal to people who have no conscience. The problem is not what white people are doing to us. Our problem is that we have not done what we need to do to solve the problem. They created the problem, but it's our responsibility to remedy it. We cannot appeal to someone else to do for us what we must do for ourselves. But it's more than just about nationhood. We've got to take responsibility for bailing ourselves out of this mess. Which means we're not only going to have to figure out how we're going to protect ourselves, we're going to have to figure out how we are going to employ ourselves. We are going to have to figure out how we are going to educate ourselves and educate our children. And we are going to have to figure out how, once again, to find our identity and start to be ourselves again. Because right now, we have assumed the position of a colonized and conquered people. And we seem as if we're satisfied with that position. Are you satisfied with being last place in the human race? Then what is it going to take? What is it going to take for us to rise up and do what so many of our great ancestral leaders have told us to do? Come together as a people. It's not an individual or community problem. a global problem. It is a racial problem, and it must be handled by us as a race, as a collective. So now comes time for us to stop talking about unity and start practicing it. Become a part of the solution, because really, if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem.
I'm not talking about tearing anything down. We don't have to worry about tearing down this current system. It's fatally flawed. It's doomed to failure. It will go down. The issue is, will you go down with it? Will you have the sense to heed my warning and come out of the belly of the beast? Because the beast will be judged, is being judged as I speak. And so our time has come for us to stand up as men and women. Stand up and build something, not tear anything down, but to stand together to build. We talk about the great empires of the past, and we glory in saying we built the great pyramids, and yet we refuse today to do the greater works, to do the things today to show that we are a great people. And there's only one way that we can do that, and that is to declare our independence. We cannot do it as children, beholding to another race for our salvation. It's not coming. There will be no changes because the institutions are what they are. We must withdraw our consent to being ruled by this corrupt and wicked government and endeavor to focus on building our own independent nation with its own humane system of economics. This system is doomed. We are in the belly of the beast, which has to be judged, and it's incumbent upon us to come out of her. If you are working on any project, and if you are giving your resources and talents to any other endeavor, if you are following any leader whose goals are in any way include integration and assimilation, then that person is a traitor, and you should reject them and withdraw all of your contributions and support from them and their cause immediately. Become instead a revolutionary tither.